But what about the schools, Pam? Probably the number one question I get. Yes, if you're going to be producing little ones, or if you're going to be welcoming little ones, or if you have little ones, the quality of schools is always a top question and a top concern if you are living in Charlottesville. So stay tuned, because we're going to talk all about the best neighborhoods for living in Charlottesville with the best schools. So diving right into it, now first off, let me be very, very clear here. There are several sources that you can find out about different schools. Here is my disclaimer, my honest disclaimer. Whatever your educational needs, you're going to be able to find it and get a fabulous, phenomenal education in and around the Charlottesville area. I have yet to meet anybody who, after they were in a school, just were like, oh no, I need to be gone from this school kind of thing. Most of the time when there is a redistricting or anything else, people are fighting to stay in their schools. Several of our school districts around the area, people move from chunks to chunks. It is because of homeschooling, public education, or private school. We just have a phenomenal support system for all of those. But today, according to neighborhoodscout.com, we are going to talk about the top neighborhoods for the best schools in the Charlottesville area. All right, so this is a website, and there are several. This is not one over another or anything else, but this one reflected what I too am seeing as a realtor. So again, most of these quite often are coming in right at the same time. There are websites such as greatschools.com, perfectschools.net. There's a ton of sources. Don't ever just rely on one source. Even when you reach out to me, you're calling, emailing, texting me, I'm going to ask you questions as well. Where you're looking is going to be dictated by several different influencers, and that can be where your job is. Are you going to be commuting? Who is coming in, moving with you? Where's everybody going to be at? What kind of special needs? Whatever it is. So all of those different sources can cover those different ways. So always check out multiple sites before you're like, that's the one. I want to be there. Because you might get there, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and be miserable. That's why you work with me, so hopefully you skip that miserable part. Anyways, diving right into it. Number one on the list. So I'm going to go over here so you can see how this works. So sharing my screen, you can see the list right there on the screen. Ivy is number one. So Ivy is right here. This is the general area for Ivy schools. Here's what I'm going to tell you. So the Ivy school area, here's what I'm going to share with you right now. Your Ivy is going to be in this area right here. The areas, so it's not going to be very clear. Again, look at your own sources, but this in itself is from the school, Albemarle County School Board, and this is actually showing you all the different districts. So for Ivy, some of these neighborhoods are going to be things like Ednam, Bel Air, Farmington, Waverly. This area is definitely going to be an established, much older section. There's going to be several neighborhoods, and I just gave you a bunch, but it's just going to be a much older, more established area. It's also going to be a larger, spread out area. Schools here, remember, it's going to be set up like a funnel system, right? So the big part of the funnel at the top is going to be the elementary schools. So for the Ivy area, it's going to be serviced by 3 different elementary schools. 3 elementary schools are actually going to be Greer, 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 Ivy, and Murray Elementary. All 3 of those elementary schools service kindergarten through 5th grade. Again, check out the individual schools as you like. In those 3, I've never had any complaints, and I've always had parents fighting to make sure they stay in their school districts. After the big elementary school funnel part comes the middle school. The middle schools for the Ivy area, the middle schools for this Ivy area. So again, just right in this area right here in Ivy, Virginia, the middle schools are going to be Journey and Henley Middle School. Here's the thing I'm going to mention since I said Journey. Several of our schools are going through renaming, whether it's removing a name or whether it's tweaking a name. And Journey is going to be one of those. It used to be called something else, but Journey is and has been the current name for about 2 years, I think. So Journey and Henley Middle Schools are going to serve grades 6, 7, and 8. Okay? 6, 7, and 8. That area, this Ivy area, the final plop in the high school funnel, then elementary, middle, high school is going to be the smallest. In this area, there are 2 high schools. It divides up depending on numbers and everything else. The 2 high schools that service the Ivy area are going to be Albemarle High School and Western Albemarle High School. Both high schools service grades 9 through 12. So there you go. Number 1, Ivy is the best neighborhood according to neighborhoodscout.com. These schools will serve you well. What's next? So before we move on to the next one, which you can see right there, not trying to hide it, anything else, but before we move on, I want to remind you, you need to reach out to me. I would love for you to hit subscribe so you don't miss any content. I know not all the content is going to be relevant, but if it's not, then probably the next one is going to be. This is, like I said, one of the top questions I get asked. So on that point, I want you to know this is a prime reason I want you to reach out to me as you're starting your journey. These schools, as we're looking at them right now, this is looking at the 2023-24 school year. So we are wrapping up. Graduations are happening in the next several weeks. UVA graduations just happened. Not that UVA has anything to do with the best schools over here, but the public schools are all starting their graduation. So that is what this information is based off of. There is a redistricting that is already scheduled to happen for the 2024-2025 school year. So the schools beginning in this coming fall. Again, a huge reason you need to reach out to me so that you have somebody on your side and you know what you're dealing with. Because if you think you're buying a house in X and you get there hundreds of thousands of dollars and you find out, oh, it's been redistricted somewhere else, you want to be in the know. Reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text, drop me an email, and we will find out what works best for you and all of those moving within your family circle. So going back to our list, I'm going to pull it up because honestly, the next couple, and here we go. So watch my cursor, watch what happens on the screen, the little purplish area. So the next one, number 2 on the neighborhoodscout.com best schools is going to be Profit. So did you see that? Profit. Up here is Profit. Okay. And then right below that is Hollymead. Profit, Hollymead. Now you can see why I'm lumping them together. The number 2 and number 3 are both great Albemarle County schools, and are, as you can see, are both located in that northern quadrant of the Charlottesville metropolitan area. So they are right next door to each other, and honestly, both predominantly feed into the same feeder system. That's the other reason I want to lump them together. What is that? Well, so the schools themselves are going to be Hollymead Elementary School, and then it feeds into Lakeside Middle School. That again is another one of the schools that has been more recently renamed. And finally, feeding into Albemarle High School. Hollymead, Lakeside, Albemarle. What are some of the neighborhoods you're going to find for these areas? Well, some of these are going to be really, really big. There's going to be a lot of smaller independent, but some of the larger, very HOA, amenity-rich neighborhoods are going to include Hollymead. Some of these neighborhoods are going to be very large, but there's going to be a lot of small, older neighborhoods as well. So again, don't think that these are be-all, do-all. Hollymead, great, sweet neighborhood, small footprint, a couple of small amenities, not much, but just a great, solid neighborhood, and quite honestly, walking distance to some of the schools. The next one, Forest Lakes. Remember, Forest Lakes almost rainbows around Hollymead. So if you imagine it's Forest Lakes South and it rainbows around to Forest Lakes North, and then underneath that in a little quadrant is Hollymead, and on the books is another neighborhood that's going to be fitting in also under that rainbow. So lots of options, but that is why I put them both together. What's next? Let's see. Next on our list, let's pull up my screen and see where it was going. Next up, we've done Prophet and we've talked about Hollymead. Next up, Rivanna. So looking in that same northern quadrant, if you can, so this is all city of Charlottesville in here. This is going, you can see 29, this is the 29 corridor. So again, go watch my little cursor, Prophet, Hollymead, Rivanna. So Rivanna is just on the other side of 29. It's almost like 29 selects, and then the ones on the right go to ABC school, and the ones on the left go to a different school. Rivanna comes in at number 4, still greatly loved. There are fewer neighborhoods, much more one-off, like that you would find in a more rural community, where you're going down, say, Earlysville Road, and you see different house here, but not necessarily a neighborhood. A couple of the neighborhoods that you will find, though, are going to be Deerwood. Deerwood is going to put you right near the airport, and it's a very sweet little neighborhood. There's both established and there's some newer, not new, but newer construction in there. Airport Acres, and then there's all the townhome communities that are up there by the Hollymead Town Center. All of those are going to feed into this Rivanna area, okay? What schools? So again, Albemarle County schools, but they're going to include, it's going to feed into Baker Butler, again, kindergarten through 6th grade. In general, that's what Albemarle County schools do, K through 5, and middle is 6, 7, 8, and then high school is 9, 10, 11, 12. So Baker Butler is elementary. The middle and high school currently are going to be Lakeside and Albemarle High School. Now, this area is in a major growth plan. If you go and check out a couple of my videos, one regarding new construction, master plan community, and North Point construction. In that area, in North Point, there are plans slated to build a new elementary school that would actually service that area. So when that happens in the next 5 years, 5 to 7 years, all of this will be reshifted again. That is a major growth area. Rivanna comes in at number 4. And where's number 5? Let's find out. Number 5, Pantops. Again, another Albemarle County school system. Pantops, ready? Did you see where it disappeared? It's right down in here. That is Pantops. So, Pantops. Pantops is going to be located, as you can see, on the east side of Charlottesville. So Charlottesville proper, that donut hole to the east going out 250, you're going to hit into the Pantops area. Some of the neighborhoods in this area are going to be places like Cascadia, very much newer, close-knit community over by Dardentown. You're going to have the pavilions at Pantops, Ashcroft, Fontana. All of those are larger, established HOA neighborhoods. Again, still lots of one small off neighbors or houses available, variety of living. But coming in at number 5, Pantops. What are the schools? Ooh, let's pull up that school. So in this area right here, again, this is Charlottesville. So in that area, you're looking at Stone Robinson or Stony Point, 2 different elementary schools. Again, same flow situation, but just depending on which area that you're living in. It goes down to the middle school of Burley. But let me say something about that. Burley's a really cool school, and I'm not just saying that because I went there. Burley is actually physically located in the city of Charlottesville. We're talking a 1.5 miles from downtown. To give you an idea, Burley is in the middle of Charlottesville. Burley is the middle school. It was acquired by the county of Albemarle. It has a very rich history, very cool history. I definitely encourage you to check out the history. It is just rich with phenomenal history. But Burley is the middle school for Albemarle County, servicing that Pantops area. Finally, so you've got the elementary, the middle is Burley. Finally, Monticello High School. There's a new one. You've heard me talk about it before. And actually, when we were talking about my video viewing the south side of Charlottesville neighborhoods off of Avon Street Extended, that is the high school in that area that I actually showed you. So Monticello High School, it is the newest Albemarle County high school. So it is beautiful, it is well appointed, and I'm not talking new like settling the dust. I'm talking new like, good gracious, 15 years old or 20, maybe even 20, maybe 20. I bet you it's about 20 years old. But Monticello High School, located on that southern side of Charlottesville. Beautiful school, wonderfully laid out, great services. So there you go. Another number 5, Pantops inside information. Key West and Eastham. So going back, you could see, again, going over to the east side of Charlottesville, fairly large area. And that is a physical area. Now, what are the schools for that area? So for the Eastham Key West, you think Pantops, right? We just think Pantops, but go a little bit north. That's what we're looking at. So in that area, there's a ton of standalones, but there are a couple neighborhoods. One that comes to mind immediately to me is exactly in the name, and that is Key West neighborhood. Very established, very much older neighborhood, but that area also has a ton of farms and things like that. Key West neighborhood is very established, a variety of homes, I'll just put it that way. They're all going to be individual single family homes. And there's a pool there as well. That's part of their HOA and everything. Beautiful. You would never know that you are a stone throw outside of Charlottesville when you're living in Key West. So the schools that area falls under are going to be, and we've mentioned these before, Stony Point Elementary, Burley. Remember, we just talked about Burley is the middle school. It's going to be in the city of Charlottesville, and then Monticello again. So you can see, even though they're farther on the list, again, these schools are starting to, so right here is where we are. We're moving on to number 7, Blenheim. Now, some of you might recognize this name if you are a Dave Matthews fan. So this area is actually where the vineyard that he purchased for his mother is, and it is considered in Overton. It is considered more of the south area. So again, let me just all of this down in here. Okay, it disappears. Honestly, no neighborhood comes to mind because again, this area is much more rural and more farms, more sort of, houses on a street, not necessarily a neighborhood. But the schools, elementary is going to be Scottsville Elementary, Walton Middle School, and then Monticello High School. So again, we're starting to see this overlap with all of these down in this area. All right, so that is Blenheim. The next one, very exciting because, like I said, just did a video, my good friend Paul, who lives in this area, and he will tell you himself, was a main reason that he and his wife moved into this area 10 years ago, was because of the schools. The schools in the Avon Street Extended Mill Creek area. So again, south, it's right here. See it right there? So in that area, those schools going to include, so Mountainside is the elementary school. Mountainside is also one of the schools that just went through a name change within the past couple of years. So if you can't find Mountainside or you're seeing it as another named school, it's okay. It's not you, it's actually because the name did change very, very recently. The middle school is going to feed into Walton. Walton is underutilized, which you will actually hear Paul say in that video. And so there's just so much more opportunity. So Walton is a great one. And finally, it too will feed into Monticello High School. All right, moving along. As we pull up the next one, I'm going to take this opportunity to remind you, this again is why you need to call me, because I have the information. I know moving is stressful. I know looking at all this is overwhelming, quite honestly. So this is why, let me help you to make the best decision possible. It does not matter to me. My biggest thing is making sure that we welcome you into the community and we find you the best place when living in Charlottesville. Coming into number 9, Greenbrier and the Meadows. So you see it poofing right there. Now you'll see this black area. Okay, let me go over here. This black line, outlined area, is the city of Charlottesville. So notice Greenbrier, the Meadows, is actually a city of Charlottesville school system. Cool. So again, great county schools, great city schools. So what schools do those include? This is actually a city of Charlottesville area. Now you've heard me talk about Greenbrier neighborhood is one of the neighborhoods. It is a very large, established neighborhood. It actually used to be partially Albemarle County, and the city of Charlottesville annexed it. So it's all a city of Charlottesville. There are other neighborhoods that feed into this system, that feed specifically into the Greenbrier Meadows area school system. But Greenbrier is like the number one. Obviously, it's in the name of the school. Greenbrier Elementary School is the elementary school, and it sits within the Greenbrier neighborhood. Super cute, very walkable, lots of sidewalks, lots of connection within the community. The middle school, this is going to be interesting. The middle school feed for the city of Charlottesville is going to be 2, because they do it slightly different. The middle schools are Walker and Buford. Okay, so you have Greenbrier Elementary School. The middle school, so city of Charlottesville does their feed system a little bit differently. Their elementary school goes from kindergarten through 4th grade. Then you have an upper and a lower middle school. So you have Walker and Buford. Now, let me pull this up so I don't quote this wrong. The Walker is the lower middle school. It services grades 5 and 6 for the entirety of the city of Charlottesville. Buford then services grades 7 and 8 for the entire city of Charlottesville. So no matter what, no matter where, these schools are going to all be the same. And then finally ending up in the high school at Charlottesville High School. So wonderful. Coming in at number 9, Greenbrier in the Meadows. Awesome. So we've gone 1 through 9 and wrapping up the top space at number 10, Dunlora Drive, Dunlora Farm Road. Again, notice when I am poofing that is on, it's right over here. See right there? Right there. It is on the northern section outside. It is on the northern section outside city of Charlottesville. So again, it is a county of Albemarle school system. The feed you're going to find is going to be Agner Elementary. It feeds into Burley, so going into that city middle school, but it's a county school. And then finally finishing up at Albemarle High School. What are some of the most common neighborhoods in this area? You're going to find Dunlora, River Run, Village Square, and a plethora of others. Quite the variety, everything from there are townhome communities, there are condos in this area, single family homes. So no matter what you're looking for when living in Charlottesville, if this area again is coming in, Dunlora and Dunlora Farm, number 10 on the best schools for Charlottesville, Virginia. So there you have it. We've wrapped up the top 10 best neighborhoods and the schools they feed into for the Charlottesville area. They included both the county of Albemarle and the city of Charlottesville. The best school for your student is just going to depend on your family's needs. What are their interests? Are they interested or tied into sport, proximity to home, environment, whatever it is. So yes, public schools are going to be dictated to a point in the Charlottesville, Albemarle in general. Of course, there are options such as private schools. We have a huge homeschooling community, but that is a top 10 list to give you an idea of the best neighborhoods that you could be looking at for the best schools. Again, this is one source. Please do your own research. Please give me a call. Again, this is my backyard. This has been my family. So I myself, I went to Woodbrook Elementary School, Burley Middle School, that's why I know it's such a cool school, and at Albemarle High School. My daughter actually went to a private school and then went to Woodbrook Elementary School. And then quite honestly, we went into a homeschooling path, and she ended up graduating from Piedmont Community College at, I think it was the age of 15, graduating with her associate's degree. And the only reason I'm telling you this again is because it all depends on what your family needs. All depends on what your situation dictates with your educational needs for your children. And you know what? Every neighborhood is different. So 3 different neighborhoods, 5 different neighborhoods can feed into the exact same school path, the same school path. But you know what? Out of those 5 neighborhoods, there's probably going to be one that is going to be a best fit for you and for those moving with you. And that's why I need you to reach out to me. Give me a call, drop me a text, shoot me an email. I would love to know if you enjoyed this, if this was helpful. I would love to see a thumbs up. Just because, again, I'm trying to give you content that you're requesting and you're asking about. If you have other questions, other content you want to see, I would love for you to leave a comment and let me know what that is. I would also love for you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything that I have coming up. But that's it for today. Until next time, let's talk about living in Charlottesville.